Leaving office in a week, yet lawmakers on both sides now say his actions in last week's deadly Capitol riots are impeachable. And joining us now to talk more about the president's role in the riots and also the articles of impeachment is Jamil Jaffer. He's an assistant professor of law, director of the National Security Law and Policy Program at the Antonin Scalia Law School at George Mason University. Jamil, thanks for joining us. Great to have you. We know the House right now is considering this resolution to get the vice president to invoke the 25th. The vice president says it's not going to happen. Based on all that's happened today, what do you think Congress will do and why?
Look, I don't know why they're wasting any time on calling on the vice president to use the 25th Amendment or calling on the president to resign. Frankly, they should have moved on articles of impeachment sooner. They should vote on Wednesday and move that ball forward. I agree with my law school classmate Ilya Shapiro, who was on earlier, that the president is engaged in activities that deserve impeachment. And they ought to move forward on it. And I say this as a Republican who served in the Bush administration.
Others wonder about this incitement case. Impeachment is one thing. How hard would it be to prove this legally in court?
Yeah, look, Professor John, you made a good point about the challenge of proving incitement. That being said, remember, the trial in the Senate is a political trial, right? It doesn't have the standards of proof that are typical in a court of law. And at the end of the day, everyone knows what the president was saying when he was in the White House. Everyone knows the things he brought to bear and the things that his lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, said, trial by combat on the steps of the Capitol. And this is America's mayor. This is not how Americans behave.
Let's shift to your other area of expertise, and that's security, Jamil. What worries you the most right now? If the president is impeached, this FBI warning of possible violence in all 50 capitals, or the inauguration?
You know, both are, I think, really concerning. Obviously, January 17th, people are saying they're going to try and protest and riot potentially at 50 state capitals. And then on January 20th, we have the inauguration. Now, look, there are 6,200 National Guardsmen mobilized from across the East Coast to D.C. The Secret Service is in charge of the events here as a national security special event. They have 3,200 officers, 1,300 uniformed officers. So there's going to be a lot of law enforcement, a lot of military around for the inauguration. I think they're going to keep it safe. And people are on alert about this 50 state capitals. It's still a concern, though.
Do you think they should move the inauguration?
No, I think we can move forward with the inauguration. I think that the Secret Service and the entire national security community can do a good job protecting us. But look, the idea that we're not worried about Al Qaeda, but worried about Americans, attacking the Capitol or attacking the inauguration, it's astounding.
So there were warnings about violence out loud and online. The Washington Post reporting the FBI was warned of war at the Capitol a day before. What do you think was the biggest failure in this?
Well, I think the biggest failure was the failure to realize that this might actually burst out of control. You know, all too often we've seen, protests and riots get out of hand. And when you have this kind of heat and debate over an election and the like, you've never seen this happen before in America, and yet looking back, it was so predictable. And you just wish that the Capitol Police had done something different. You wish the Sergeant at Arms, the House, the Senate had done something different. And frankly, you wish the FBI and the National Guard had been there earlier.
There were laptops stolen and other material, no doubt. Is there any concern about what might have been exposed or what got out?
Sure. The entire building is an official building, and so there's secret-level computers in those buildings. That's always a concern. Potential classified material. That's obviously secured with passwords and encryption and the like, so I'm not too worried about that. But there's a lot of sensitive data in those offices, too, and on those computers, and it's concerning. There's a lot of personal information about the members of Congress and their staffs also.
All right, Jamil Jaffer, Assistant Professor of Law, George Mason University, thanks for your time.